ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا أما بعد فإني أحمد الله سبحانه وتعالى وأشكره على أن هيأ لنا هذا اللقاء معكم أيها الأحبة، وأرجو أن تكونوا بخير أنتم وجميع أفراد أسركم. أسأل الله لنا ولكم التوفيق والسداد وأن يحفظنا وإياكم من الفتن ما ظهر منها وما بطن. I praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and thank Him and wish it for allowing us once again to establish this link with you, mashallah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us all tawfiq and success in this life and the hereafter. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep us firm upon His path, and we ask Him subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us all from the trials and tribulations. I hope that you are all well and your family members. Allahumma shfi mardana warham mawtana. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to cure those who are sick and to have mercy on the soul of those who died upon Islam. Ameen. نواصل مع الدرس الثاني من الملخص الفقهي لفضيلة شيخنا العلامة الوالد الدكتور صالح بن الفوزان حفظه الله تعالى وغفر له ولوالديه ولوالدينا والمسلمين والمسلمات. Ameen. We continue in this second session, alhamdulillah, as preparing for the month of Ramadan of the year 1442 of the Hijrah. We're going to continue reading from the book Al-Mulakhas Al-Fiqhi, a summary of Islamic jurisprudence by our noble Shaykh Al-Allama Dr. Salih Al-Fawzan. May Allah preserve him, have mercy on his parents and our parents and all the Muslims. Ameen. نواصل نكمل الدرس الأول من الباب الأول. كنا وقفنا عند طرق دخول الشهر، كيف نعلم بدخول شهر رمضان. We started the point when the Shaykh he mentioned that the obligatory time of fasting in the month of Ramadan begins when the beginning of the month is known. When the beginning of the month is known. We don't just fast like that. When we know that tomorrow is the month of Ramadan, that's when we start fasting. However, we learn that there are three ways by which one can know about this. Three ways. الطريقة الأولى رؤية هلاله. The first one was to see the new moon of the month. Anyone who sees the new moon should fast. If somebody alone somewhere in the desert or whatever and he saw the moon, the crescent of the month of Ramadan, that person should fast. Okay? He should fast because he saw it with his own eyes. The second, not everybody sees the crescent of the month of Ramadan. Not everybody. Only few people see it. That's why we have the second way. الطريقة الثانية الشهادة على الرؤيا أو الإخبار عنها. The second way is being informed of the appearance of the new moon of the month by a just, trustworthy, legally accountable person. And this is the case actually in our times. Many of us, we didn't see the crescent of the month of Ramadan. Has seen the crescent of the month of Ramadan. The sighting of the moon or the crescent has been sighted. and been approved and took place somewhere, and we are informed by a Muslim, trustworthy, just, legally accountable person. الطريقة الثالثة إكمال عدة شهر شعبان 30 يوما. Now the third way, if you didn't see it by yourself, no one. We were not informed because people they're asking, is the sighting took place? They says, there's nothing. Nobody said they sighted the moon today. It's tonight, nothing. Let's say tonight is the 29th, the end of the 29th day of Sha'ban. Let's say, as an example, okay? Today was the 6th of Sha'ban, the day the 6th, which is now we're on the 7th night of Sha'ban. But let's say today was actually the 29th day of Sha'ban. So at this time, reports are being collected. Like in the Muslim countries, they have committees that they go ahead in different places of every country, like in Saudi Arabia, in Egypt, Morocco, and other than them. They go and sight the crescent. And if anybody's seen the crescent, they report it. They report it to the authorities who are in charge. And then they make announcements through the television, through the radio stations, right now through the Twitter accounts, Facebook account, if those ministries, they have those outlets. And then they say that the sighting of the crescent of the month of Ramadan was seen, and therefore tonight is the first night of Ramadan and tomorrow will be the first. Now, if there is none of that, hour, 2 hours later, nobody come and say, hey, nobody from those committees have seen the moon. Now we have the third, alhamdulillah for Islam, we have the third way to decide when the beginning of the month, which is the completion of the month of Sha'ban, this month we're in, to complete it, 30 days. At the end of the 29th day, the Muslim, they go on sight, look for the crescent of the month of Ramadan. They don't see it, nobody saw it, then no confusion, nothing. Alhamdulillah, we Muslims, we have this beautiful religion of Islam, we have guidance. We move on to the third step, which is to complete that month we're in Sha'ban, 30 days. This way is to be applied when the new moon is invisible on the 30th night of Sha'ban, the 30th night, which is that comes after the end of the 29th day. Though there is nothing to block vision, such as clouds, rain, or like that. Even if it's clear. Here the Sheikh is telling us that when you don't see the crescent, doesn't mean you always have to be overcast or rainy or fog or cloudy. No, sometimes even like clear day. It's clear, but you still don't see it. You move on to this point, alhamdulillah. Now, نواصل بإذن الله. قال الشيخ صالح حفظه الله: ويلزم صوم رمضان كل مسلم مكلف قادر. يعني صوم رمضان يجب على كل مسلم، عربي وغير عربي، أبيض أسود أحمر، فقير غني، لا يهم. مسلم، أنت مسلم، مكلف يعني بلغ التكليف، قادر يعني ليس له مانع يمنعه من الصوم. لذلك فلا يجب الصوم على كافر ولا يصح منه. لو صام الكافر لا يصح، لأن الله لا يقبل من الكافر أي شيء من الأعمال الصالحة. لكن هذا الكافر إن تاب في أثناء الشهر صام الباقي ولا يلزمه قضاء ما سبق حال الكفر. The next point the Sheikh mentioned, he says, fast in the month of Ramadan, all of it, not just some days or here or there, no, the entire month. Fast in the entire month of Ramadan is obligatory upon every legally accountable, that reached the age of puberty, Muslim, while being able, meaning doesn't have something that prevents them, like sickness or old age, or travel, for example, and like, or pregnancy that make it difficult for that woman who is pregnant or breastfeeding, they don't fast. As for the disbeliever, it is not obligated to observe the fasting. And even if he does, it will not be accepted from that person. That's why you say sometimes some non-Muslims who work with you, with some Muslims or neighbors, or somebody, family member, but there are some Muslims who have non-Muslims family members. We ask Allah to guide them to Islam. So they may want to like fast. It's like, oh, I'm going to show solidarity. I'm just going to like be nice to you guys and fast one of the days. Allah would not accept from them, because Allah does not accept from the disbeliever. However, now, if a non-Muslim, Jew, Christian, whatever, became a Muslim, alhamdulillah, and accept Islam in the day of Ramadan or the night of Ramadan, and this happens, alhamdulillah, this happens. And we witness, alhamdulillah, that's ni'mah and fadl from Allah, that some of the people, Allah guide them to Al-Islam in the blessed month of Ramadan. We hear sometimes right after Isha, before Taraweeh, after Taraweeh, after Maghrib, after Asr, this, Dhuhr, this person want to be Muslim. Alhamdulillah, good. And then when they become Muslim, they are taught that from the things that the Imam of the Masjid or the person who qualified to give da'wah talks to them about the beauty of Islam, and the virtues and the blessings, about Tawheed, and then from the things you told them that we are, in a sense, you took Shahada and Allah guide you in this blessed month of Ramadan, this is the month of fasting. Do you know anything about it? Because some people, subhanAllah, they know stuff. They've been studying before they become Muslim. Some people, mashallah, they know stuff. They've been studying it for months or years. They're like, yeah, we know we're supposed to stop. It's alhamdulillah. Those who don't know, you remind them that they should fast. The remaining, if a person become Muslim in the 10th of Ramadan, then alhamdulillah, you tell them, you don't have to worry about the first 10 days or 9 days. Just fast from now on, inshallah. Now, so that person who became Muslim in Ramadan is to fast, has to fast the rest of the month of Ramadan without being obliged to make up for the days he has missed as a disbeliever. ولا يجب الصوم على مجنون ولو صام حال جنونه لم يصح منه وذلك لعدم النية. المجنون ليس له نية، لا يعرف ما يفعل، ولذلك من الخطأ لو كان عند أسرة فلا تستحي، لا، هذا لا يصوم. كيف؟ مجنون، لا يفعل، لا يعقل، لا يعرف ماذا يفعل، لا يصوم. Likewise, the Sheikh says, fasting in Ramadan is not obligatory upon the majnun. قبل ذلك نسينا شيئا نقطة، لا يجب الصوم على صغير ويصح الصوم من صغير مميز ويكون في حقه نافلة. I forget one point before this one, so we just want to go with the book, inshallah ta'ala, that fasting is not obligatory upon children, yet it is valid if observed by a child who is under the age of puberty, and it will be regarded as a nafil, supererogatory act of worship for him or her. Therefore, the children, especially who reach the age of discernment, 7 and up, 7, 8, 9, 10, but they didn't reach the age of puberty yet. It's not obligatory upon them to fast, but their parents can encourage them, inshallah ta'ala. Talk to them about the virtue of fasting and explain to them the great reward that Allah loves it. Allah give you great reward. And they try. If they fast one day, alhamdulillah, it's okay. They fast 2 days, 3 days. Allah will save that reward for them as a nafil fast. And then also become a training for them. They will know what Ramadan is. The mistake that some parents, they don't encourage the children until when they reach age 14, 15, now they reach the age of puberty, now they have to fast. It's not a choice. They have to fast. And that will become so difficult for them because they never fasted, not even half a day. So you encourage the children, which brings us to another mistake. So as I mentioned, the puberty brings us to another mistake that some of the parents fall into. Due to ignorance, some parents, they still look at 15, 16 years old, that they're still young. They don't have to fast. No, it's not about the 15, 16. The ulama says 15 years old, only if none of the signs of puberty are shown before the age. One of the signs for the women is the menses. If a woman have her menses when she is 11 or 10, even some of them, yes, now she reached the age of puberty and she's supposed to fast and pray. Now you find somebody from the family, the father, grandmother, whatever. No, leave her alone. She's only 12, but she's they have to fast. No, leave him alone. He's only 16. 16 and he didn't fast yet? No, he has to fast. They may have to fast when they were 14 or 13, who knows, based on if they have one of those signs of puberty. Now, which brings us to the other point that we mentioned about the insane person. Okay? Likewise, fasting in Ramadan is not obligatory upon the insane. And if a person observes fasting while being in the state of insanity, it will be void due to the lack of intention. Those who are insane, they don't know. They don't even know who they are. They don't know if it's day or night. They don't have the faculty of mind to be able to make a sound intention. So they shouldn't fast. And therefore, you shouldn't force them to fast and tell them, no, you're not going to eat because this is the day, Ramadan, you have to fast. No, they don't have to fast. You don't. You take care of them. If they want breakfast, you give them breakfast. You know, if you give them lunch, they can drink some water, no problem. And the ulama, they says, if you are around other people who they don't know their condition, then yes, you can give a food secretly, not in front of others, to avoid any confrontation or any criticism and the like, because people sometimes they don't like keep in their mind that this person is insane or traveling or sick, or they just like attack person like that. Dare you eat in the month of Ramadan? They don't even ask, is this person have valid reason? Like, no. ولا يجب الصوم أداء على مريض يعجز عنه ولا على مسافر ويقضيانه حال زوال عذر المرض والسفر لقول الله تعالى في سورة البقرة فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر. Likewise, the Shaykh says, fasting in the month of Ramadan is not obligatory upon the one who's sick, afflicted with an illness, that prevented him from observing the fast, nor upon the one on a journey, the person who is traveling. The person who is traveling. But they have to make up the same exact days. Now, as for the person who's sick, now we're talking about the person whose sickness is not permanent, temporary. Because we're human. Alhamdulillah, today you're healthy, tomorrow you don't know. May Allah preserve us and protect us and me. But if somebody, for example, got sick right the night before Ramadan, he was alcohol, he went to fast, but he got sick, very sick. That person doesn't fast. Alhamdulillah, if he continued to be sick for a day or 2, 3 days, a week, once he or she, alhamdulillah, they become sound and healthy, then they can continue to fast. And they make up the same exact days. Some people's illness may continue with them for the whole month. Yes, they don't fast the whole month. And when Allah cured them, then they make up those days. Likewise, the person who is traveling, a travel that is make him shorten the prayers, then that person have a choice actually. The traveler have a choice. If they want not to fast, they don't fast. It's okay. Therefore, you see the mistake. Some people, they say, how dare you not fast? You're still young and strong and you're traveling on a car and a plane. No, if they choose not to fast, it's okay. But they have to make up the same exact days. However, the ulama from Sheikh Al-Uthaymeen and other than them, they says, however, look, even though the traveler is given the permission and the concession to break the fast, however, if the journey does not add an extra hardship on him, it's better for him to fast. Better, not wajib. Better for him to fast. Now, but if a person now chooses to fast while on a journey and he become a great difficulty, so much so that he's sick now, he's passing out, cannot even move, now they said it's haram for him to fast while on a journey if we lead him to that, okay? Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 184, so whoever among you is ill on a journey while in those days of Ramadan, then, and they don't fast, then the same exact days that they didn't fast, they should make them up. Of course, after Ramadan and after the Eid, of course. والخطاب بإيجاب الصيام يشمل المقيم والمسافر والصحيح والمريض والطاهر والحائض والنفساء والمغمى عنه فإن هؤلاء كلهم يجب عليهم الصوم في ذممهم بحيث إنهم يخاطبون بالصوم ليعتقدوا وجوبه في ذممهم. Now he says the obligation of fasting is directed to both residents and travelers, healthy and ill people, ritually pure or impure people like the women in their menses and women in their postnatal bleeding period, and those in a state of unconsciousness also. All of them are accountable for the obligation of fasting. All of them, they should fast. What makes the difference is that some of them, they're going to fast day by day in Ramadan, while others, they have to make up those days because they have a valid reason. So they are commanded to observe the fast so as to be aware that it is obligatory upon them and that it has to be observed whether at its due time, meaning day by day in the days of the month of Ramadan, or later in the case of valid excuse. For example, a sick person, they have to fast. I mean, like it's obligatory upon them to fast. But are they going to fast every day of Ramadan or not? That based on their sickness. So they have to fast 29 or 30 days. Likewise, the pregnant woman, likewise, the traveler. But they just have to make up the days that they didn't fast in the month of Ramadan because of that valid excuse they have, sickness or illness and the like. والعزم على فعله إما أداء وإما قضاء. It is obligatory upon some of them to perform the fast at its prescribed time, meaning day by day. These are for the healthy and resident people, the healthy non-traveler, excluding, of course, the menstruating woman and women in state of postal bleeding. It is haram for the women to fast on their postnatal bleeding. Okay? It is haram. The women on their menses or in their postnatal bleeding, they do not fast and they do not pray. But once the woman's menses come to an end, alhamdulillah, she began to pray and began to fast. She take a ghusl, a bath. But after Ramadan, they make up the days they missed from Ramadan, and they do not make the days of the salah that they missed from the salah. They make up the fast. If a woman menses, cycle is 5 days. So she did not pray for 5 days, and she did not fast 5 days of Ramadan. Could be in the beginning, the middle, or the end. But after Ramadan, she has the whole year until before the next Ramadan to make up those 5 days, for example. But she doesn't have to make up the 5 days of prayer she missed while she was in the menses. So the Shaykh says it is obligatory upon some of the Muslims to perform the fasting as it is prescribed at its prescribed time, namely the healthy and resident people, excluding menstruating women, and women in a state of postnatal bleeding, those who gave birth. Others are only obliged to make up for it later, namely the menstruating women and women in a state of postnatal bleeding, and those who are too ill to observe it at its due time and can observe it later, meaning not those who have permanent illness, temporary illness. However, there are some who may choose either whether to observe the fast at its prescribed time, meaning day by day in the month of Ramadan with the Muslims, or later, such as the travelers we mentioned, and the sick people who can observe fasting with difficulty but without causing them harm. Now, فمنهم من يخاطب بالصوم في نفس الشهر أداء وهو الصحيح والمقيم إلا الحائض والنفساء. So as for some of them, as we mentioned, they are to fast in the month of Ramadan, day by day. And this is the non-traveling person, the healthy person, except for the menstruating woman, as we mentioned, and the women on those postnatal bleedings. ومنهم من يخاطب بالقضاء فقط وهو الحائض والنفساء والمريض الذي لا يقدر على أداء الصوم ويقدر عليه القضاء. There are those who, yes, they have to fast. However, they cannot fast day by day. Like we mentioned earlier, the menstruating woman, sick person, they cannot fast. Whatever they didn't fast, alhamdulillah, they remember the same exact days. If it's 1 day, 7 days, more or less, maybe the whole month sometimes for a sick person, and they will make up those days. ومن أفطر لعذر ثم زال عذره ومن أفطر لعذر ثم زال عذره في أثناء نهار رمضان كالمسافر يقدم من سفره والحائض والنفساء تطهران والكافر إذا أسلم والمجنون إذا أفاق من جنونه والصغير يبلغ فإن كل من هؤلاء يلزمه الإمساك بقية اليوم ويقضيه. وهذه مسألة خلافية اختلف فيها العلماء، ومن العلماء من رجح أنه لا يجب عليهم الإمساك لأنهم أفطروا بعذر شرعي، والإمساك بقية النهار لا ينفعهم شيئا. هذه مسألة خلافية بين أهل العلم. The Shaykh says, as for one who breaks fasting during Ramadan, due to a legal excuse, they have a valid reason, and then that excuse is over. The excuse is gone. The Shaykh gave an example, such as a traveler who returns back. He was traveling, then he gets home by Dhuhr time. Now he's not traveling anymore. So from Dhuhr until Maghrib, does he fast or continue to eat or what? The Shaykh is going to mention the ruling. A menstruating woman or a woman in a state of postnatal bleedings who become brutally pure. A woman, her menses come clean, she come to an end at Dhuhr or Asr. Now she start praying, of course, she take a bath and pray, but what about? Can she continue eating because that's one of her days, or she should stop at that moment until Maghrib? Likewise, the Shaykh says, a disbeliever who converts to Islam, who accepted Islam, an insane person who regains his sanity during the day of Ramadan, a child who reaches puberty in the day of Ramadan. Now the Shaykh is sure, this is a mas'ala khilafiyya, whether these people, they should stop at that moment whenever the valid excuse is gone. Okay? Should they abstain from eating and drinking and fast the rest of the day or not? This is a difference of opinions among the ulama. Sheikh Salih Habibullah Ta'ala here, he chose that they are to observe fasting for the rest of the day. If the excuse is over in the daytime, and to make up for the day afterwards. You see? But some of the ulama, they says, no, they don't have to. If a person who's traveling, or a woman in her menses, and that person who's traveling, he didn't fast, he got breakfast and lunch, but he got home after Dhuhr. The ulama says, no, he doesn't have to fast from that moment. Because for one, he says, the fasting starts at Fajr, not at Dhuhr. Okay? And secondly, it's not going to benefit him anything to fast. No, because he still have to make it up, because the Shaykh says, because the other opinion, they says, they should abstain from eating and drinking and fast from that time on until Maghrib. Yes, but they still have to make up the day, so they're not benefiting from that fast. Okay? Wallahu a'lam, this is a mas'ala khilafiyya of Ahl al-Ilm. Some of the ulama, they rajjahu, they says that they fast from that moment on, and they make up the day. Other ulama, they says no. Since they already didn't start fasting from Fajr, they don't have to fast because they have a valid reason. They have a valid reason. وكذا إذا قامت البينة بدخول الشهر في أثناء النهار. أناس ما عرفوا ذهبوا للنوم. هذا خاصة يقع في القرى، ما عندهم لا تلفاز ولا واتساب ولا تويتر ولا أي شيء. بعد المغرب، بعد صلاة العشاء، سألوا إمام المسجد هل ثبتت الرؤيا، هل غدا رمضان؟ قال والله ما ندري، ما في رؤيا، ما ثبت شيء. فذهبوا ناموا واستيقظوا للفجر وكذا، وبعد ذلك في أثناء النهار عرفوا أنه لا، اليوم رمضان، ثبتت الرؤيا ولكنهم لم يعلموا بها. قال فإن المسلمين يمسكون بقية اليوم ويقضون اليوم بعد رمضان. The last point we're going to mention in this class is if the Muslims are informed in the daytime or after daybreak that the month of Ramadan has already begun. It happens sometimes. In our days, Allah musta'an, people, even at 11 p.m., at 1 a.m., still you receive Twitter, you receive notification, people say, oh, tomorrow is Ramadan. But now what about the people living in some countryside, way in a desert, that they have no technology, nothing? They prayed Isha, asked the Imam, hey, is tomorrow Ramadan or not? He said, no Ramadan. Nobody says. But then later on, they find out in the morning that actually today is the first day of Ramadan. the Sheikh says they should observe the fast from that moment, even if they ate something, ate breakfast, and they make up that day after Ramadan. ونقف عند هذا الحد وقد أكملنا هذا الباب ونواصل معكم غدا في نفس الموعد بإذن الله. أسأل الله لكم التوفيق والسداد وأن يرزقنا وإياكم العلم النافع المثمر للعمل الصالح والثبات على السنة. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us all beneficial knowledge that produces righteous actions and to keep us all firm on the sunnah. جزاكم الله خيرا. بارك الله.